August 8, 2020. ESA case says cub petting is abuse. Being sued, Innovate Tampa Bay. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, Aries and the Hawk, Animal Planet series. Lots of stuff going on. Biggest news yet for ending cub breeding and petting. Judge Richard L. Young in the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of Indiana just issued this landmark ruling that confirms pulling cubs from their mothers before 2 years of age is harmful to them and constitutes take and harassment under the Endangered Species Act. He applied it to tigers, lions, and hybrids, which is another precedent-setting choice. And then it says, 2. The Wynn defendants violated the ESA 16 U.S.C. 1538 A1, B, and G and its implementing regulations, we're going to name all those numbers, by taking big cats within the meaning of the ESA when they harmed and harassed at least 53 big cats by prematurely separating big cat cubs from their mothers. 3. The Wynn defendants violated and continue to violate ESA 16 U.S.C. and implementing regulations by possessing big cats that they have unlawfully taken in violation of the ESA. And then they had a permanent injunction against doing that, which I included here, but I'm not going to read that whole thing. Am I being sued? I can't tell from the video, but it sounds like it, and that's what Mina Johnson told me was their intention. She said they hope to depose me in hopes of getting the sanctuary property and other real estate from my portfolio. I don't see how that's possible. Glenn Edwards asked me to be included in a 3-page, maybe 5, spread in his book saying, quote, I saw the recent Synapse newsletter, which detailed your experience at the summit, and thought Big Cat Rescue would be a good fit for Innovate Tampa Bay publication. I'm the publishing partner working with Global Village World, partnered with Synapse to complete Innovate Tampa Bay Volume 3. The coffee table book and accompanying ebook, which includes augmented reality videos that will look at 100 plus companies that credit innovation and creativity as a significant contributor to their growth and an important part of their plans to move forward. The book will feature profiles of these companies as told through editorial and color photography. There is no advertising in the book and no cost to participate, unquote. I wrote the following text for the book, and we'll gather some photos of our AR zoos and the Big Cat Rescue VR screenshots. Glenn said we are the most unique disruptor in the Tampa Bay area, and even though he knows I'm not going to buy copies of the book to show off, which is how they make their money, he feels we are so inspiring that it will make their book much more share-worthy. Innovate Tampa 3, Volume 3. Innovate Tampa Bay, Volume 3. The first zoo opened in the U.S. in 1847, and at that time there were more than 100,000 tigers in the wild. Zoos have held themselves out as modern-day arks to preserve species through captive breeding, but no big cat born in a cage has ever been set free, nor could they be. During this time, tiger numbers plummeted to under 4,000 at the wild, while the number of tigers held in cages in the U.S. grew to far exceed that number. Similar numbers exist for all wild cat species. This model of con-servation has nearly caused the extinction of wild cats around the globe and separates patrons from their money that should be going into real conservation efforts that protect wild places and corridors. Despite the facts, zoos cling to their message that they are cultivating concern for wildlife and teaching respect for nature. In fact, seeing wild animals languishing in cages under the guise of educating us or entertaining us really conveys the opposite message, which is that it's okay to impose our will on others if we benefit from it. There could never be a better time than now to disrupt the entire industry with experiences that are rich with the magnificence of the animals and the storytelling about their important roles in nature that are based on virtual and augmented reality. Big Cat Rescue partnered with VidPic AR and the Westfield Shopping Centers in March of 2019 to launch the world's first AR zoo at the Citrus Park location. The world's second AR zoo was then launched in Plantation through this same partnership in August of 2019. See arzoo.me. Both locations were so popular that Big Cat Rescue began searching for developers who could bring the next element of virtual reality to the spaces and to headsets everywhere. At the CNET Summit 2020 conference, Exennial Digital was demonstrating their Magic Leap climate change experience, and Big Cat Rescue was bringing lions, tigers, leopards, bobcats, and more within touching distance via 3D videos in Oculus Go headsets. They started a month later on a project that launched on the Oculus Rift in the Oculus Store in June of 2020, called Big Cat Rescue VR. The same game has been formatted for the Oculus Quest and HTC Vive and is available on Steam. In the virtual reality game, the player finds themselves in a pristine forest where they meet a tiger tracker named Jamie, who instructs them on how to use their binoculars, knife, and sedation equipment before sending them out in search of a missing tiger named Jasmine. The player looks for clues and, on finding them, launches a video about the clue. Each clue has video information that explains how tiger trackers can find and monitor tigers in the wild. Ultimately, the player will find that the tiger has been snared by poachers, but what to do? She could need medical help. She could kill you if you try to help. The gamer has to figure out how to successfully free the tiger and get back to the ranger station. Upon their return, they learn about how captive breeding, and especially the cub petting industry, are causing the extinction of tigers in the wild. From there, they can actually choose to take action to protect big cats by contacting their member of Congress and making the call of the wild. Big Cat Rescue believes that this level of interaction will do far more to teach viewers about the plight of the tiger and what they can do to help than could ever be conveyed by seeing a tiger in a cage. By leading the way and showing zoos that this is a much more cost-effective and humane way to encourage conservation, we hope they will build on this idea and create interactive experiences. On a similar path is all of the 3D and 360 video offerings Big Cat Rescue has been creating and sharing on YouTube, Facebook, and in headsets. The ultimate goal of that type of animal viewing adoption is to create so much demand for seeing wildcats doing wildcat things that funding will be redirected from caging animals to installing remote-controlled, internet streaming, live webcams in native habitats. Imagine coming home from a hard day of the rat race, slipping into your headset, and dropping into the snow leopard's favorite cave in Tibet, or the lion pride's favorite rock outcropping, or the bobcat's favorite creek crossing site, and seeing them all behaving as if they would if man weren't a threat. The greater the demand of this sort of entertainment and education, the more wild spaces can be preserved. The more ecosystems that are preserved, the more nature flourishes. And so do we. Wasn't that what zoos said they were all about? And then I gave links for the photos and videos. TMZ's Charlie Neff asked me to weigh in on a new music video by Cardi B, who had started and then dropped a Free Joe campaign, and Megan Thee Stallion that prominently featured big cats. The way she spun it, I'll probably have these two women and their mob after me, as she titled the piece, quote, "Carole Baskin rips new music video, big cats aren't accessories," unquote. But what I actually said was, my guess is that most people won't even see the photoshopped cats in the scenes because the rest of it is so lurid. I was happy to see that it does appear to all be photoshopped. It didn't look like the cats were really in the rooms with the singers. In fact, probably most of the rooms were photoshopped via green screen. That being said, you have to pose a wildcat in front of a green screen to get that image, and that doesn't happen in the wild. It can't happen in sanctuaries like ours, where the cats have plenty of a room to avoid a green screen, or would shred it if offered access and could die from ingesting it. That tells me they probably dealt with one of the big cat pimps who makes a living from beating, shocking, and starving cats to make them stand on cue in front of a green screen in a studio. That's never good for a cat. The worst part is that it glamorizes the idea of rich people having tigers as pets. That makes every ignorant follower want to imitate by doing the same. After tigers are too old for pay-to-play sessions by people like Joe Exotic, Bhagavan Antle, Mario Tabro, Mark McCarthy, and others, they become a liability instead of an asset. While I think most are destroyed behind closed gates at that point, Some end up being given away to people who want to have a tiger in their trailer park to show off. Either way, it's always abusive to the cat. Aries Cougar sees the vet, and Hawk won't leave Jamie's side. Aries Cougar is 14 and the last survivor of his littermates who were rescued 14 years ago. When this overweight, always hungry boy started declining his food intake down to a pound or so a day, we knew something was wrong. During his sedation, a hawk came and sat on the barricade next to everyone, intently watching. He was chased away but came right back to keep a watchful eye. The hawk was chased away because he moved to a perch atop Funcation to see better, and Flint Bobcat could hurt himself if he were to go after the bird up that high and fall. Jamie said she wondered if the hawk was Orion, coming to keep a watchful eye on his brother, or perhaps escort him back to the ether, or if the symbolism of a hawk was for her. She said it took 3 times to sedate Aries fully, and yet when she crawled into the 4-foot-high tunnel with him, he still woke up with her, trapped there. Aries' blood work showed a low white blood cell count, but he gets regular vaccines against Pan-Luke, so we are sending off blood in case our machine was faulty. X-rays just showed him to be overweight and not fluid in the stomach. He was given sub-Q fluids, antibiotics, and will spend a day or 2 in the West Bench Recovery Hospital on site until he's eating and ready to go back to face the heat. Movie series and book deals. Today, Howie's self-assigned task is to put together a spreadsheet of all the places we are in discussions with about doing a movie about my life, a series about big cat abuse and the federal bill, a series about the way Tiger King lied, and a ghost-written autobiography. Never mind, Siri.
Okay, I found this on the web for a series about the way Tiger King lied and ghost-written autobiography.
So far for the book, we are liking HarperCollins, which claims to be the world's leading book publisher. I gave them the 34 pages of just the turning points in my life that were interesting, and it would be nice to have a lasting legacy created, but it seems premature to me because I haven't done what I set out to do yet. Howie's notes on Think Factory. July 27, 2020. Talk to Lisa and Brian. Animal Planet Surviving Joe was done by Dave as a sister production company at the same location and has the same parent, ITV. Founder before ITV did Hatfields and McCoy series with Kevin Costner. Started in scripted, then unscripted with Gene Simmons from Kiss. 8 seasons with his family. Said don't mess up my brand. 200 episodes, very happy. Marriage boot camp, advice to married celebs, counseling. All happy even though the material the celebs gave may not show in a positive light. Felt accurate. Philosophy of integrity, quote, life is too short, unquote. Up to us if we want to address crime or not. Lean toward limited series. They pitch the networks and either get funds up front or fund for a sizzle reel to start. Network does get edits, but supposedly not significant changes. But they were honest that Network does get some editing rights. Time frame. A few months to get down to the ideas and set up pitches. We participate. Normally the shooting time is 2 to 3 months, but COVID disrupting. From network commitment to completion is 6 months or so. Network then chooses where they have the spot to air it. Typical costs a few $100,000 per episode, but varies a lot. There would be compensation for us. On August 6, 2020, they pitched us with the idea of using existing big cat abusers as a way of telling the story that this sort of abuse is widespread and what we are doing to end it. This gives us an opportunity to show the wretched conditions, the way the cubs are manhandled, and then do the recap as to why it's a violation of existing laws that aren't being enforced. I want to bring in other experts to echo our views, and especially PETA, as a way to finally overcome the negativity they experience at the hands of very vocal animal abusers. They have the footage the world needs to see. We are the only exotic animal sanctuary in the world that is proud to partner with them due to that mischaracterization of them that is so broadly believed. I think people would tune into this, and the benefits are that it puts pressure on lawmakers and law enforcement to do their jobs while showing us for who we really are. And then this next one, I can't say the names yet, but it was a certain organization for a scripted and non-scripted story of my life. So far, we are liking them best for both of these projects, as they tend to do them in conjunction with each other. See July 9th, 2020 for their original pitch. We've had a couple more calls, and they said about 25% of their shows they bring in Sony as the studio because it can mean the end product is better quality and has far more distribution than just their channel. That's important to us. At this time, they have my above-mentioned 34-page lifetime timeline and are keen to move forward. I'm warming to the idea. Dave Luce, producer of Surviving Joe Exotic. Dave Luce was a producer on Surviving Joe Exotic, and that has been a runaway hit for Animal Planet. They say the first run in the 10 p.m. slot on July 25th, 2020 had 600,000 views, which is a record for 2020. They ran it a week later and it had 500,000 views, which was far more than any of their other first-run shows that night. On their Animal Planet Go app, it's held top position from the day it launched, July 25th, till now, and has twice the views of the next contender. As a result, Dave says Animal Planet came to him asking for more that includes us, so he reached out on Facebook to me. While Howie and I love what he did with Surviving Joe Exotic, we just don't know what kind of show he could pitch that would sell and achieve our mission. Howie wants to do a 3-part Tiger King rebuttal, but I don't think that's what Animal Planet is looking for, and we may already fill Animal Planet's desire with the one Think Factory proposed. And the one Think Factory proposed ended up being Carole Baskin's cage fight. Dave's pitch to us was to do a story about the takeover of the GW Zoo and all of the drama and transfers of animals to legit sanctuaries. That would be a great story, but no telling what Jeff Lowe is going to do come October 1st, 2020, when his time expires, given the fact that I just can't imagine USDA giving him a license to open in Thackerville, Oklahoma. Speaking of Jeff Lowe, he told the court that he had COVID-19 and got out of the July 23, 2020 hearing on contempt. August 6, 2020, turns out he didn't have COVID-19 and had to appear in court. He wanted to be able to say he was in compliance, so he paid $28,000 for liability insurance and delivered a box of documents to our attorney via courier. The delivery man was none other than Alan Glover, the longtime Jeff Lowe codependent hitman that I believe he and Joe Schreibvogel paid to murder me. If that doesn't just scream intimidation, what would? Judge Pauck gave Lowe a week to file the rest of what we've demanded, and for our attorney to put together a list of remedies that she and Howie think are fair for all of the hassle Lowe caused us, like the $13,000 in attorney's fees I had to pay last week. But I doubt seriously the judge will do anything other than scold him. We have 2 cases in this, and this is the lesser of the 2. Hopefully the judge will see Lowe for who he is and give us rulings in both cases that finally brings this lawsuit from 2011 to a close. One pitch we've held back is the idea of having Stanford come to do DNA analysis on the skeletal remains of tigers at GW Zoo that we plan to do. We don't want Lowe destroying evidence, and he's already been caught by USDA burning a tiger carcass under a pile of scrap wood. We believe the skeletons will tell the stories of cubs who were killed as soon as they aged out from being useful as pay-to-play props. I'm so frustrated that all of this has taken so long, but I finally feel that the end of the breeding and pimping is in sight, because even the most reticent of the animal abusers have to see the handwriting on the wall from the PETA versus Tim Stark case. Brittany Pete at PETA told Howie they are scrambling to bring a similar case against Jeff Lowe. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.